You know how we're always saying, God, man, the 70s were so awesome. They let directors do whatever the fuck they wanted.
They sure did.
And this one decided to shoot 1.4 million feet of film and spend 4 million of somebody else's dollars. And this might be one of the few instances in history where I probably would have sided with the movie studio taking it away from her.
Yeah.
Every dollar's up on the screen.
It's
just too dark.
You let two method actors workshop scenes that are in a different, better movie for the entire running time.
Yeah.
She's the continuity queen. That's what I'm calling her.
Well, it's a hot
God.
mess. I thought the ending was fucking.
How many places
terrible.
can your tie be in 2 or 3 minutes?
How about it go from tie to no tie at all?
It's gonna be like greasy and grainy, and oh wait, this isn't New York, it's Philadelphia. Okay, fine, I can live with that. And then nothing fucking happens, and they just go round and round. Like I was, endlessly reminded of other better movies, and like these two guys clearly have a rapport. But I felt like they were just riffing, and then I read that like she would basically do a thing where she just let the camera roll and just let it roll
the anecdote where they walked off the set and then the assistant director said cut, and she got mad at the assistant director, and
because they might come back.
They might come back. Exactly.
It's full of great fucking character actors who are given literally nothing to do.
Well, this
is
is
like
like
Walsh. Emmett Walsh is in this movie.
I know.
And you don't even get to see him.
William Hickey's in this movie.
He's driving the bus.
No, you see it, he's in a headlock.
And then you see the top of his head.
I was thinking.
I wanted to love this. It is very highly regarded. I don't understand why.
I was thinking of Blood Simple a little bit.
The 120-minute version is apparently worse.
Oh God.
So when she edited it back down to 108 minutes, everyone was like, "Oh, this is better."
Yeah.
Well, when I first saw Ned Beatty, I was like, "Oh, hey, there's Ned Beatty," but my brain said, "That's M. Emmett Walsh," and I was like, "Oh no, that's Ned Beatty." And then later, I fucking see M. Emmett Walsh in the movie as well.
So
and you
were
like,
prophecy.
They're both in here, of course.
It proves they're not the same person.
Yeah.
Do you guys ever see that movie Made that Favreau did with? Yeah. Well, I actually really liked that, but at the time I thought Vince Vaughn was playing like the world's most annoying sidekick until I saw this.
Right.
And realized, no, that's Cassavetes. And then I think actually Favreau was trying to kind of do a Cassavetes style movie, and Peter Falk actually shows up in Made as a character at the beginning, but it's just two guys just wandering around like
Chris, if I could have somehow entered the movie myself and shot John Cassavetes, I would have.
Yeah.
Oh, without question.
Yeah.
He was so annoying.
But
they're also both actually drunk for most of the movie.
Probably.
Right?
But you can tell that this is a method thing that Elaine May was feeding him bits like, okay, you say you're going to die. Okay. Say you've got a stomach ache. Okay. Then do this kind of thing. So he would take
say, Mikey, call a doctor. Mikey, I need a doctor.
Exactly. So
and Peter Falk, go get the world's lightest furniture and try to plop the door open with it.
I know.
And so with your ottoman. And then your other ottoman.
It was all
get on all fours and move that ottoman.
Would this been better as a stage play? It was like a blackout set with like just two guys doing their thing. Would it be better or worse?
I would have walked out.
It was blackout for most of it.
It was.
Most of it in the street.
Yeah.
But Cassavetes isn't just annoying. He's not just annoying in this movie. Cassavetes is like deplorable. Like he is a scumbag.
He's in that bar with the African Americans.
Good
God damn.
Yeah,
no, dude.
He's a racist and a misogynist.
Oh,
and Peter Falk is
Christ.
just a misogynist. So
he almost sort of rapes that woman in front of Peter Falk. Like what the fuck?
And then goes and tells him to get some.
Yeah.
It almost felt like these guys were like 20 years
I
too
know
old
that
for this
she
role.
is held up as some kind of like genius, and maybe with the right partner she is. And listen, I laugh at Ishtar. I'm not going to lie. I think it's better than people made it out to be. I watched it the last couple years. I still laugh at that movie, but this was fucking terrible. And it's no wonder no one let her near a camera again for a very long time.
Well, it's not just. And here's the thing, though. We can argue all day about like were the characters, despicable or not, and that's not the problem. The problem is she's just a completely inept filmmaker. Like technically,
that's exactly right.
Like you can make a movie about anything you want, but technically, the editing and the shooting is just it's offensively bad.
You know where that really stuck out to me, Jared, was in the scene where Ned Beatty goes in to look for them in the bar, and the shot of Ned Beatty's like up looking at his chin. We don't know where.
Oh my God, it's so funny.
There's no wide shot of the bar to indicate he's coming to the bar to see who's there. It's just, it was very badly.
Yeah.
He is a pimple, and you can see the pimple in the shot.
Well, that's what
in 35 millimeter in the 70s. You can see that.
There's so many continuity errors that you can't even count them all.
Oh, and 3 DPs, and they still could not manage to keep things in focus. That was
there's so many things out of focus, and also just the editing is so clunky.
There it is,
and you can tell she's using takes. You know, she's using takes because the performance was good, but it doesn't match the previous cut at all. She doesn't care, or someone doesn't care.
Yeah, I guess I need to go see other Cassavetes movies because, as I understand it, things happen in those, but they're also that sort of weird, like, mid-70s kind of greasy, grainy thing.
Cassavetes
a nice
movies
out of focus picture of Peter Falk here.
No, Cassavetes has much better command at the craft. And, and he's got
a better filmmaker and a better actor than this movie.
Yes.
I think so.
Oh, well, this thing was watchable because of the two actors, and they're probably 20 years too old for the parts they're playing.
I stuck with it because I'm like, A, I picked it. I've been an asshole if I turn it off, and B, I'm like, well, maybe it'll get better.
Chris, my God. So I need to tell you
this movie
that you have picked the 2 longest hour and 40-minute movies that I've ever seen in my life. It took me 3.5 hours to finish this because every 5 minutes I was like, fuck this movie, and I paused it and I went and did something else. It was grating on me for the entire time.
I watched it straight through, I just finished it 20 minutes ago.
I was completely distracted by Peter Falk's glass eye for about half of the movie.
That wasn't entertaining. You could just say which one's real, which one's not, and they kind of do their own thing. I said he spent a lot of money on that eyeball. It looks really good.
It's a good
Also, this caused me to look up Peter Falk because I wanted to know when he lost his eye, and he was 10 years old, and he had cancer. He had cancer in his eye.
Wow.
And
a weird place to get it.
And it's called a glioblastoma, and he played sports after this, and he played baseball, and at one point he was running to third base, and he got called out, and he was really sure that he was safe when he got called out, and he was arguing with the umpire, and he took his glass eye out and said, "You need this more than I do."
That's pretty good.
And apparently the entire team just lost it.
So this film was made like 72, 74, and it came out in 76. It's set in Philadelphia, right? So this film was over, and Rocky was on like AMC or something like that. And I compared notes. Rocky was made almost the same time, almost in the same city. And this film cost $4.2 million, adjusted out.
Astonishing amount of money.
No, it was adjusted out to $21 million in today's budget. And Rocky was made beginning to end for $890,000.
Wow.
Strong,
and was somehow less racist than this movie.
No. And it was that's a strong producer. That's Chartoff, right? And Winkler.
Well, and you also got John G. Avildsen as a director, and and Stallone wrote a good script.
He did. He wrote a great script. And
so do you believe that Avildsen actually directed that, or that he ghost directed for Stallone? Because that's one of the big things about Rocky.
Wait, Stallone doesn't have directing credit.
I hadn't heard.
Stallone
directed 3 on, I think.
Yeah. No, but Avildsen is reported to be a ghost director.
He might be a hired hand, in other words.
So he would go and meet with an actor who wanted to direct a movie, but the studio wouldn't let them, which is that's the Tombstone also. It's the same thing.
Yeah. That makes sense. You think about it, because it's like it was his pet project.
Yeah, it was.
He really wanted, and so
he was right. God, he was right.
Yeah, he was. It was great. Who cares? The first time out, he made $1 billion, billion, $1 trillion. It all worked out. But yeah, this one.
Go ahead.
Made his whole career.
Going back to this one, it was.
Now he's an anti-vaxxer.
I've seen it. Okay, fine, thank you. It's not. It's a gritty new Hollywood cinema film, but it is really bad.
Very gritty.
Yeah.
I didn't watch the Criterion. I watched the free one on
I was super
Prime.
gritty on that one.
Boy, oh boy! You can see like the junk on the frames. It's like,
really? It's a totally different print.
I wonder.
You can see hairs
in the opening
and
credits,
shit.
you can see dirt.
Oh, I'll be
Yes,
damned. Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know. Okay, that's
It
fun.
literally. At one point, I was like, "Did Amazon film this off someone else's TV screen? Like, did
maybe somebody snuck into Criterion's
They
office with
might
an old
have.
video camera and says, "Hey, look, go in there," and they got it. Then
this thing has like an 81 on IMDb. I'm like, this has been on my list for years. It's fairly well regarded. And then I read like, well, how many of these are new reviews versus old reviews? And it's like 50-50. People have seen this recently and still like it. I don't know.
Well, it's on Criterion. I watched it on Criterion Channel.
Second, you guys, give me a second, because it sounds like everybody hated it. I just came out of watching it, like I said, like 20 minutes ago. Watched it straight through. I was entertained. Maybe I was in the right frame of mind.
Maybe.
I wasn't thinking, umpteen million feet of film, $4 million. I was just looking at it at face value, and it was like I was entertained from beginning to end. And it was like,
ow!
I thought it was fun to see these guys doing their thing. And around the time they were climbing over acting, and about the time they were climbing over the cemetery wall,
acting, 3 tildes is
around the time they were climbing over the cemetery wall to visit his mother's grave, I was laughing. I was like, this is like a Shaggy Dog story. Set this guy up so he can get shot, and it's the whole night. This is going to be the whole fucking movie, isn't it? Yeah, it is.
No, it's like a bunch of stand-up bits.
I enjoyed it. And I'll tell you what else. And if I'd had time, it would be the picture behind me right now. The shot when he starts fucking his blonde girlfriend on the couch, and fucking
Peter Falk is sitting in the corner.
He drags the trash can over and sits next to the refrigerator in the kitchen. I was howling. Just a shot of Falk sitting there smoking a cigarette.
That one, yes.
Also, I was going to say.
Yeah, that's it.
Don't worry. I did pay attention to all of that.
This movie almost has more smoking than Hannah Ardent, but not.
Oh my God, it was unhealthy amount of smoking. Actually, Jared, I have a question for you. Just put your acting hat on, and come to me as an actor. Tell me what you thought of their performances. Purely, not just the bad filmmaking, but how they conveyed their ideas across.
Well, obviously these guys are. I mean, obviously they're good actors. They're good performances. That's what I think.
Yeah,
I think that they are. These guys are probably super comfortable with each other. They are. I mean, obviously Cassavetes used Peter all the time. So this is all like friends. I think like making movies together, and they're like to have that kind of, like someone mentioned earlier, they're probably improving a lot. They're probably, but I think one thing I could say about it, just my opinion maybe, would be I bet that they are people who know that they can go to the limits with each other and not hold back at all. And that really helps when you have a scene partner that you're not comfortable with and you don't know how far you can go. Your performance can suffer, and theirs as well. But when you have guys like this who are like, hey, nothing is off limits. We can go anywhere.
The fight in the street when Cassavetes falls down.
Yeah.
I 100% believe that was real.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like he
Also
took a pop at him and then fell down. Like
right. I was gonna, that's exactly right, Tad. I was gonna mention that because I think that whole fight sequence was wonderful and kind of along lines of what John was saying too. It was kind of funny, you're kind of laughing at these guys beating each other up now in the street, but it didn't seem fake at all. And in fact, you're probably like, when real fights happen, it's probably more like this than fucking measured moves and shit.
Oh, I've seen that happen. I've seen the two guys tackle each other out of a bar and then go to the ground, and then like one of them tries to get up and falls down, and the other guy gets
that's
up,
a real fight.
and then somebody runs up and steals their jacket while they're down.
Pretty much, exactly.
No, this was Brown Jug Saloon in
I
Tenderloin in San Francisco, by the way.
But just back to. No, I thought the performances were tremendous, and I'm kind of in between John and the rest of you because I don't think it's a terrible film. I've seen worse films. I think it's a poorly made film, right? I think that they're doing a great job acting, and I don't judge it for its like story and character because it is one of those like all happens in one night, and thankfully he got his comeuppance for being just such a horrible person that he was. But that
was a pretty brutal murder, as murders go.
And the filmmaking was so bad,
so fucking long.
Yeah.
One of
the end.
It's a really funny thing, and this is sort of a point about how bad the filmmaking is and choices are. the end, he gets blown away. It's actually pretty dramatic, and it's, you know, Peter Falk is just, he's behind the two chairs just looking,
right,
and his
the
wife
is just sitting there.
The wife is just sitting there, and
Well,
literally
she was helping him hold it.
Yeah, she was helping him hold it.
The ottoman.
But before they cut back
the
to
two
Peter,
ottomans, yeah.
Peter Falk's face is the last shot of the film.
Yep.
And they're on the wife. They're about to cut back to Peter, and they actually do a line. Peter has like a line where he kind of mumbles like, "Go to bed."
Yeah.
And it cuts to his face, and then the movie fades. And I said, "Why the fuck did you put that line in there?"
There are several. There's
Go to bed. Really? Go to bed.
Because his
There's
wife
several parts in
drinks
this
at 5
movie.
a.m. That's why he said go to bed.
But you don't even see him. But they didn't need it. You don't even see him say it. It would have been a much more powerful film if they just cut to him.
But hold on. Isn't it like the middle of the fucking
and his
day?
lips aren't moving.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's somehow the sun came all the way up in 10
The
minutes.
sun is out.
Yeah.
It's clearly daylight when he's getting shot in front of the house. He says, "Go to bed."
Yeah. It's
Also,
just
I
bad.
suspect the last scenes were all shot in L.A.
Yeah. I'm gonna put this one in the curiosity pile, like no failures. Like there's
But I do
something
think their
about
acting
it.
is
I mean,
good. Those
people
guys are
like
good
it.
actors. They're good
Good
actors.
acting.
They are. They're good
this
actors,
is what happens
not
you
the-
let your two method actors just run amok for 90 minutes.
But here's the other thing about watching good actors like this, though, as fascinating as they can be, this was like too much, too long, right? I mean, like it was too much of the same thing, too much of the improvisation, too much of the same.
This is
like,
yes and the movie.
Right.
They're just yes anding
Right.
each other the
But-
entire way.
Peter Falk is wonderful. Like in the opening scene where he's like, take the pill, take the pill, take the pill. What is it?
Yeah.
Poison. Take the
But here's
pill.
the thing: take that scene,
Mhm.
which is great. I agree with you, but surround it by a good movie.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
there are bits-
The scene that I had originally, when he goes into the cafe and he just like jumps over the counter and starts beating.
That
up
was great.
Yes.
That was great.
'Cause he wants to
However,
know, yeah.
the woman in the back is mugging to the camera the entire
I gotta go back.
time.
Oh, yeah.
I gotta look at that.
And it's just like, how did you shoot 1.4 million feet of film and not get a take where she's not looking directly at the camera and laughing through the entire thing? Like,
I know.
like every good acting scene in this movie is spoiled by some shitty direction.
No.
So
Good
Especially
actors,
said,
not
what's-
lighting them enough.
yeah. Good
When Chris-
actors, good performances were not served by a good script or a good director. That's what
So
I
when-
see.
when
That's-
Chris picked this,
the seeds of Ishtar were planted here.
yes, I guess
It's
so.
coming. You can see
Yeah.
it coming.
You're right. They are.
All right.
Well, I had heard this movie, you know, I had heard, but you know, this movie has a good reputation, like Chris was saying, and so I actually tried to watch this movie like 2 years ago or a year ago, and I stopped it because of the inept filmmaking, because
Right.
of the continuity. I just couldn't take it.
Mhm.
I mean, but you know, I'm kind of glad Chris picked it though, because this time I sat through the
I
whole
can
thing and
cross
watched
it off the list now.
Yeah.
yeah,
And,
yeah.
and now we're your support group, kind of gets you through it. It's okay. You're gonna be fine. We just saw it.
I know,
You're
it's
good.
like
And
there was a
Elaine
point
May-
where-
I got.
I'm not
Elaine
gonna
May made
lie.
the Heartbreak. Elaine May made the Heartbreak Kid before this,
Yeah.
and like
I
that's
remember liking that. That's
it's a
Grodin, right?
it's a good movie.
Good
Yeah,
script. That's the
yeah.
thing. Yeah.
It's a good yes, because she didn't write it and she didn't act in it.
Yeah,
She
right.
just let it go.
I'm not gonna lie. About halfway into it, I'm like, oh god, I'm gonna get fucking chewed up and
Now,
spit
when you-
out on Sunday. God damn it!
What do you
Chris,
want
I
to hear? What
almost
do you want to
felt
hear
this-
Jim's take on
Both
it?
of,
Oh, let's.
Yeah, let's hear
both
Jim.
of these movies, Chris, I felt like let's check these off the list.
Without question. Oh, hey, look, they're free. Hey, I can check these off the list.
Okay.
Perfect.
Oh,
All right.
oh no, Scott
Okay,
is
And I'd
pulled
never
over.
seen. Well, I'd never seen
Oh
either
yeah,
one.
I'm getting pulled over. This is my gym lighting. So hold on.
All
right.
right, let's hear what Jim has to say.
Mikey
Did you
and
put
Nicky.
the camera
19
way up about 4 feet above you?
no. But seriously, 1.5 million feet of film and nary a story to be found. What a waste of two fine actors, all shot without a script or lights. That's it.
Yeah,
That's all he said.
That's about all it's.
That's
Okay.
reasonable.
All right, good enough.
he kind of
Yeah,
nailed it.
Back to normal.
Back to normal.